Hello from the Channel studio in London and welcome to another edition of Foreign Dispatches, the program that takes you around the world in 25 minutes. I'm Teniola Oyetayo. On the program this week, we take a look at reactions and expectations of Nigerians around the world following the inauguration of President Bola Tinubu, plus drones hit Moscow buildings in rare attack on Russian capital amid the Ukraine war. African leaders, including Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo and Rwandan President Paul Kagame, attended the inauguration of Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The president, who was symbolically dressed in the national colors of green and white, charged Nigerians not to allow the opportunity for greater development of the country to slip away. We spoke to some Nigerians in the United Kingdom watching the ceremony away from home on their expectations from the new administration. Popularly tagged as Little Lagos because of its vibrant Nigerian community, this is Peckham in southeast London. Most Nigerians here are optimistic about the new administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with many citing his achievements while he was governor of Lagos State.
I know that what is done in Lagos is ready to do it all over the state with the cooperation of all the governors forum, and every Nigerian should join hands. And in the next 4 years, I'm sure Nigeria will not be where it is today. There's going to be a tremendous economic recovery, and I'm absolutely confident that there's going to be changes, and lots of Nigerians in the diaspora will be able to come back home.
I so much believe in him because he's a man of dignity, and I welcome him on board because, in fact, I'm one of the most happiest person on earth when he won the election, because a lot of change is going to take place at the moment.
I know what Jagaban did in Lagos, and if he can continue, and now that he's coming to be our president, I believe he has a lot of vision how to make Nigerian proud, and I believe in him.
But many also hope for rapid changes, especially in the area of security and the economy.
Security is the number one, because we that say want to come back home and do a lot of things, but when you are thinking about what is going on in Nigeria, it is not safe at all. I personally, I won't bring my daughter at this point. As much as I love Nigeria, I like to come over there. But thinking of the security alone, just like, you know what, do you really want to do it? And if this new administration can do that, that will be a plus. And I'm very sure that all the Nigerians back home and here in diaspora will be so happy.
I think he has seen the problem Nigeria is facing at the moment about security, and about how everything is so expensive, and how you can see that majority of our people, young ones, they are not leaving the country, and we are so blessed with so potential people that academically vibrant, and they are leaving the country. So this is not a good thing for any nation. So we are praying that this new administration, they are going to look into that, you know, that all these problems, especially the security, because that's the major thing that is causing the country to decline economically.
With no diaspora voting, several Nigerians travelled back home from the UK to vote. Dr. Simisola Alabi is one of them. She hopes promises made regarding healthcare will start to take shape in the new administration's first 100 days in office.
We know that healthcare is one of our major challenges. That also, we also have security, obviously, finance and the rest of it. But healthcare for me is number one, because if we don't have a healthy people, then our GDP is going to continue to drop, because evidence has shown that for every year you increase life expectancy, you also increase GDP. So there's a very strong link between money and also health. So I'm looking at that. So in summary, for me, I'm looking at, in 3 months' time, 100 days in office, what are the signs of accountability for every area you've said you're going to deliver on?
She also encourages the new president to engage with the diaspora more.
The message to the president really is to remember those abroad. Most people who are abroad are out here, or abroad because of the economy. They're economic migrants. They just didn't go out. They've left because Nigeria was not serving them. So we want to see more of our people come back, those who want to come back home, to be able to have those pathways to come back home. For me, Nigeria can never leave me, and I'll always be part of the system. But I want to see my colleagues and other people, particularly in my sector, find easier ways of working in Nigeria. But also, we also have to put ourselves out there as well and say we're available to serve, we're available to work, and obviously be fairly remunerated for what we do. So I would say to the president, I was a very young girl when he was Lagos State governor, and I'll say that it should bring back that same energy, have people who are able to liaise with those in and outside the country, bring things like electronic voting for people in diaspora quickly, and start to work towards that, so that by the next 4 years we can do that as well.
According to the World Bank, Nigeria is the largest recipient of diaspora remittances in sub-Saharan Africa. For Nigerians in the United Kingdom, all eyes are now on the new president to see how he fulfills his manifesto and makes way for more investment. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa was among the heads of state that attended the inauguration in Abuja. Nigerians in his country were also keenly watching the process, with many hopeful for the new administration to make Nigeria a great country for the people.
Many Nigerians living in South Africa are also keenly watching as the new government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu takes the reins to steer the nation through the next 4 years of nationhood.
I've got mixed feelings.
Despite the mixed feelings, there's also hope that the many expectations will be met.
My expectation is for the incoming president to do what is needful for Nigeria. We cannot afford to also go through the same 8 years of past regime to continue as a new regime. So we want things changed. We want that country back. We want Nigeria back to its track. We want unemployment scrapped off. We want better life for our people back home in Nigeria.
I expect them to come in and do something about economy as soon as possible. It's not going to be easy. There are no easy way out. Things are so bad right now. And I honestly think people should give them like 2 years to let their policies and everything to be in place, and let's see the result. Otherwise, more people will go into poverty.
The election has been conducted, even though there is so many issues surrounding the election. But that nonetheless, we hope and believe that the new administration would bring peace in Nigeria and will bring development to the country, Nigeria.
In almost every field of endeavor in South Africa, and indeed the world over, Nigerians can be found doing greatly. Most say it's about enabling environments, a factor for excelling they hope will be replicated back home.
I'm looking forward to an overhaul of our educational system. I'm looking forward to no more strikes of the lecturers, of the academic staff in Nigeria. I'm looking forward to better and quality education in Nigeria. I'm looking forward to the government funding more research, because trust me, Nigerians, we have the brains. Everywhere we go, we are doing well, except at home.
We are hopeful that definitely it's going to be a good time for Nigerians and Nigeria at large.
I'm hoping that through democracy, we'll be given a chance to play.
And it's just that hope everyone is holding on to for a greater Nigeria beyond the ceremonies and fanfare. Hope the new government will hopefully not dash.
And in the United Arab Emirates, our correspondent Maiwa Adegoke also spoke to Nigerians in the country on their expectations from the new administration.
Work permit restriction for nearly 2 years, a visa ban for most Nigerian passport holders, a total stop to direct flights between Nigeria and the UAE as a result of the money owed Emirates Airlines, increased security risk linked to Nigerians, sex trafficking, cybercrime. These are among the issues associated with Nigeria and her citizens in the UAE. As far as Nigerians are concerned, new President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has his work cut out for him. Over the last 3 years, diplomatic relations between both countries has gone from bad to worse and now nearly non-existent, a reality the outgone President Muhammadu Buhari and his team failed to resolve before passing the baton. Battered, bruised, but not broken, Nigerians in the UAE now look to their new leader to save the situation.
If I was the president pertaining to this issue on ground, first off, I want to see the aviation minister and the government of UAE sit together. They settle things. They just settle it. There is something wrong somewhere. Maybe it's a miscommunication, misinformation, misinterpretation. There is something somewhere that is going on. We would first of all settle that clash. There has been rumors saying that it's the airline issue, the deaths on ground and blah, blah, blah. If that can be cleared, if that's going to stop this whole thing, they should clear it.
8 years is 8 years, the old man has to go. So for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming in, our father, all we really expect from him is much more like what we expect from Buhari. Because I don't like to you, the road is not built in a day. But we expect much as a citizen of Nigerian here in Dubai. This is where we work, this is where we earn our catch money to send to our parents, our cousins, our wife back home. So a lot of things we expect from the president is like maybe he will come down to UAE and be able to like sort out the issue.
The Dubai of 10 years is not Dubai of today. I can tell people about Dubai 10 years ago, what we are passing through. Basically, when our people went to work, they will tell you, go and bring your brothers. We wanted to give them job. But all of a sudden, something just went wrong. What's really happening? So I would like them to come in, to work on our work permit, tourist visa, business visa. And if it's possible, there should be a guideline for everybody. So to protect Nigeria's name as well, because you can't say that Nigeria is not good. Also, you cannot blame the government that they are not good. They have to protect what they have.
While many of them would not mind returning to a better homeland, they appreciate the opportunity to live here and earn their keep. They are also hoping for a better government back home.
I got a job in other company. Due to the visa status, I cannot go there, other company. So that is the area is affecting me. Not only me, it's affecting most of my colleagues. So that is.
And how are you surviving?
Yeah, we are surviving through of our family at home. All the money that we already saved, we need to call home. So they are sending money for us for it in here.
We are expecting a good government from that new president because the previous government is, all the Nigerians who are living here, they are very difficult about that previous government because they didn't do anything to us. Most of our business is collapses because of this government. All over the world they are complaining about what the government is doing at that tenure. But we are expecting good leadership from that new government, inshallah.
The Nigerian community is recommending that the new government prioritize the payment of monies owed Emirates Airline, a joint government effort to tackle security concerns, and the support to establish strong business structure for Nigerians in the UAE.
When Foreign Dispatches returns in just a moment, we move to other stories as Turkey's Tayyip Erdogan wins election, extending rule to third decade. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on the program. So the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Russia claimed that Ukraine launched its biggest ever drone attack on Moscow on Tuesday, but said air defenses destroyed all 8 of the drones. It brings the 15-month war in Ukraine to the heart of Russia's capital. The drone attack coincided with the latest wave of airstrikes on Kyiv, marking a moment where both capitals were hit on the same day. Tuesday's early morning raid targeted some of Moscow's wealthiest areas, including a western zone where President Vladimir Putin and the elite have residences. The capital's mayor said 2 people were injured, with 1 hospitalized. Reacting to the drone attack, Russian President Putin said it was aimed at civilian targets and Russia will respond. A Ukrainian official denied Kyiv's involvement, but said Ukraine was enjoying watching the strike and forecast more to come. Across the border, Kyiv was also hit on Tuesday for the 3rd time in 24 hours and for the 17th time in May. Ukrainian Defense Forces said they shot down more than 20 Iranian drones. Here, school children were seen screaming and running for safety. Residents sought shelter at underground stations as explosions rang out across Kyiv.
Almost every day we receive the attack from missiles, kamikaze drones to our hometown. It's almost 800 buildings destroyed, 417 more than 170. This last information. More than 400 buildings, apartments buildings destroyed.
Emerging from bomb shelters, many Ukrainians said they feel the attacks are a sign of growing desperation on the part of Russia.
It is not the first sleepless night. If it is very noisy, we spend the night in the corridor. But this does not change our lives. We continue to live. We go on with our lives and keep on enjoying them. The Russians are losing their minds. They realize they have lost, and they want to inflict as much damage as possible by scarring civilians.
The whole world realizes Russia has lost this war. The way I see it, the attacks is the last outburst of anger and hate towards the Ukrainian nation.
Since Russia sent troops into its neighbor in February last year, the war's largely been fought inside Ukraine, though Moscow has reported some attacks on its territory and said one was an assassination attempt against President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, Ukraine is promising a counter-offensive backed with Western weapons to try to drive Russian occupiers from seized territory. Moscow says it's open to resuming stalled peace talks with Kyiv and has welcomed mediation efforts from Brazil and China. But Kyiv insists full withdrawal of Russian troops is the only way to end the war. And over in Turkey, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has extended his 2 decades in power, securing victory after a runoff election. The vote reflected Turkey's stark and persistent political polarization after the opposition forced Erdogan into a runoff vote, an unprecedented event in the presidential system that Erdogan introduced. Tayyip Erdogan is staying on as president of Turkey after winning the runoff presidential election on Sunday with just over 52% of the vote. It was seen as the toughest political challenge yet to his increasingly authoritarian rule, now set to enter its 3rd decade. Speaking to supporters, he said voters had given him the responsibility to rule for the next 5 years. thousands of jubilant supporters celebrated in Turkey's streets.
Thank God, this is exactly what we wanted. We are very happy that Tayyip Erdogan won. This is the final 5 years. This was his last wish and we gave him that. Everyone said he will lose. Thank God he's not going anywhere. We as a nation are always behind him because we love him. We're with him all the way.
Russian President Vladimir Putin was one of the first world leaders to congratulate Erdogan on his victory, describing him as a dear friend. The election was seen as one of the most consequential yet for Turkey. The opposition believed it had a strong chance of unseating Erdogan after his popularity was hit by a cost of living crisis. Challenger Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu called it the most unfair election in years, but did not dispute the outcome. Election observers said they saw little change in the country's handling of its presidential runoff, with media bias and transparency concerns.
In short, our assessment of this second round of the presidential election is similar to the one we shared with you 2 weeks ago. Concerns raised during the first round over the lack of a level playing field and the unfairness of the campaign remained unaddressed, with the incumbent president continuing to benefit from an unjustified advantage. Regretfully, the use of harsher rhetoric by both contesting sides that was discriminatory and inflammatory further polarized the political environment and Turkish society. I would like to applaud the democratic spirit demonstrated by the people during these past weeks. Voters came out in great numbers, including yesterday, and it is crucial that the winner makes genuine efforts to ensure the unity of Turkey.
I'd like once again to congratulate the people of Turkey for turning out to vote in such high numbers. However, the lack of transparency observed during the first round continued, with the national election authorities holding closed sessions and withholding the publication of most decisions, including on complaints related to the first round results. This further corroded trust in its work, which is key to citizens' confidence in the entire electoral system. Regrettably, I must also note the language used in the campaign over the last 2 weeks. It's been polarized and harsh, with accusations of collaboration with terrorist organizations by both political camps. In the same period, and of great concern, supporters of some opposition parties continue to face intimidation and harassment.
The record of 69-year-old Erdogan includes having redrawn domestic, economic, security and foreign policy in the NATO member country of 85 million people. The prospect of 5 more years of his rule is a major blow to opponents who accuse him of undermining democracy as he has amassed even more power, a charge he denies. And that's the program today, but remember, our top stories are never far away. You can catch them on channelstv.com. Thank you for watching. I'm Teniola Uyetayo. Bye for now.